You turn on your computer, your tablet, your smartphone. You go to the internet browser, you type in your favorite website like facebook.com. It brings you to the website and you start using it. Very rarely will you ever think about how that works. And you probably don't care, but why should you? This is TQA Weekly. I am the host, Steve Smith, aka Z-Axis, and yes, you may call me that. And if ever you have any problems with your computers, your gadgets, your electronics, your applications, or anything, send me your questions, comments, suggestions, and or stories to ask@tqaweekly.com or head over to tqaweekly.com and use our contact form to send us this information, and I will respond. I am asked lots of questions. The ones I want to focus on today, because this is a technology questions and answers show, is the ones related to, is there a way to connect faster to a website? Is there a way to prevent my kids from accessing adult websites? And can I make the internet safer for my kids, elderly, other family members who don't know better or can be gullible? And is there a way to find out where the internet is being used, how often, where is the most popular websites on your home network, and which ones are problematic? And you know what? It is possible for all of this. But before we get into anything else, I talked about the fact that you turned on your computer connected to a browser, typed in an internet address, and you were sent to this website. You may not know how it works, you may not care how it works, but should you? And the answer is yes. You pay for a certain amount of speed. But it's not because you're getting half a gig or a quarter of a gig, maybe 30 megabits per second of speed, that you can connect to a website that fast, because when you're connected directly into the modem, you are connecting through your ISP's DNS, domain name server. When you're using a router, you can using the router's domain name server. Now the cool thing is when you actually went out and bought your service for your internet, your ISP, you chose them. Most of the time, we expect them to give us access to a DNS server. In fact, most people would be surprised to know that when you buy a router, you're no longer using the DNS server of your ISP in almost every other case. Why? Because the router company can actually analyze your traffic and make money off of you. Just another way you are being tracked. So, should you care? Yeah, for the next 15 minutes, because after this I'm giving you a choice. And if ever any of you have any other choices, if you're on YouTube, on blip.tv, or anywhere else, you can always put it in the comment box down below, or you can head over to tqaweekly.com/se3ep21 and use the comment box underneath the show notes to share the information. If I get enough cool places or really good places, I'll share them in the next episode. So for the next few minutes, we are going to worry about the domain name servers. So how about we use a service I prefer? I'm not being sponsored by them, and I have been using them for years. The service I use is known as OpenDNS.com. They have, for the parental control solutions, which will be useful for most of you, especially if you have kids, 3 options. The OpenDNS Home, which has the classic service and customizable filtering and security, which allows you a faster, more reliable internet connection not being detected by the router's manufacturer. You can modify the way that you're connecting through the internet, block the adult websites, and forget about it. And the best thing of all is this is not like any of that software you have to install on every other computer. This is at the router level. Your kids can't mess with this as long as they don't have the password to the router. And as long as they don't have physical access to the reset button, there is no way for them to reset this information. It also has built-in phishing and identity theft protection, which is great for people who may or may not understand how things on the internet work. But you can go a step further. You can use the OpenDNS Family Shield, which for most families, this is actually the best that you can get because it will make your internet faster. It will prevent your kids from accidentally clicking on links, bringing them to adult websites. The filter that they use to block adult websites is always up to date, and they're always adding new websites 24/7. It is flexible, blocks everything in the network because this is, again, at the router level, still has anti-fraud and phishing protection, and faster, more reliable. Again, this one is also free. So the first two I talked about were free. The last one I don't use, but I don't have kids and I don't have teenagers to deal with, and I call it, and they call it, the OpenDNS Home VIP. This is something that actually, not only would I give this to kids and teenagers, maybe like some of the elderly who don't really know what's happening on the internet. So what does this have? Faster, more reliable internet? Check. Same as before. Parental controls that protect every internet connected device? All at the router level? Yes. Built-in anti-fraud and phishing protection? Like before? Check. Here's the bonus. Have you ever had your teenager run away and not understand why or where they're going on the internet, or they're not letting you anywhere near the computer? You can't read the logs on your router because you don't know how that works? Internet usage stats. Detailed charts of websites being visited, top websites that they actually go to, and notification of problematic ones. By the way, you can modify some of these places so that you can actually exclude access to these problematic websites. And best of all, if you ever get confused, because you are paying a flat $19.95 a year, so a cup of coffee a month, you get to call a premium customer support to help you out. So that's even better. This is the only one you have to pay for, but this is the one that I would get if I had problematic teenagers doing stupid things on the internet. And by stupid, by the way, I'm talking about going to rogue websites, connecting to places where people are pretending to be younger than they are and meeting people in strange places. So those kinds of people I get this for. Also very easy to set up. Like I said, end of the show, you worry about it. 5 minutes, change the DNS IP addresses in your router. And that's it. For those who are going to try to figure out how do I do this, Google the name of your router and change DNS IP address. You'll get the instructions for your router. There is something like 16,000 different manufacturers and hardware types of routers. So this episode would take too long to do for every single person. So we won't worry about that. You can always Google the instructions on how to change the domain name servers in your router. So ultimately, the choice is yours. All of these services are available through OpenDNS.com. Next week, I'll be talking about wireless channels, channel width, and how this may affect your wireless internet performance. Learn how the wireless requires these channels and how to better utilize them. And before I get to the end of the show, I am starting a brand new technology, applications, and software and gadget type blog. Things I can't get into on this show, but you can always go and read about all the software and games and hardware I use through blog.tqaweekly.com. Remember to like this episode if you're interested in today's topic, share if you think someone else can benefit from this, and subscribe if you wish to learn more. For the show notes of this episode and others, information on how to join our newsletter, which is weekly by the way, and having access to all the other subscription information, all the RSS feeds, other websites we are posted on, how to send me your questions, comments, suggestions, and or stories, head over to tqaweekly.com. Stay safe and online and have a great day. Goodbye.